Sports Pulse. There's a lot to get into. The Boston Celtics. I've been on the forefront of saying that they are probably not the team to root for if you're in favor, if you are a fan of playoff success, if you're a fan of postseason success. And the rest of the national media seems to be slowly but surely coming along to that line of thinking. So that's exciting. Also, any big takeaways, anything earth shattering from yesterday's Dallas Mavericks Minnesota Timberwolves game? Maybe, maybe not. But first, join me, Mr. Living Good 09 Erok. How are you today?
I'm good, maybe. How are y'all doing? Thanks for having me on for this pulse of the niceness, man. It is a very, very, very big pleasure. I had to do that better. Hold on. Yeah. All right. We are here to be awesome and make sure you get the takes that you want. And I'm very happy and grateful that Gabe, thanks for having me on. It's been a while since I've been on a podcast with you.
Yeah, pulse of the niceness. I'm not sure that's the vibe that we're going for, so we're gonna have to work on that. So thank you. We'll correct that. We'll correct that instantly.
I
but
like it.
no, no. But no, no. Yeah, it's been a minute, but you and me, we've been talking sports shoots since January now together, officially on and off. And you have been on the forefront of the Caitlin Clark is amazing train. And I've been one that's been a little more cautious in terms of, hey, let's watch her first play. Well, we're 5 games in. A lot to take away, I think. A lot to take away, I think. But just kind of initially, how are you evaluating? And we are 100% going to overreact to her first 5 games as a pro. Go ahead.
I will overreact. Well, some might call it some might call it overreacting. I'm not calling it overreacting. She is their leading scorer. She is their leading assist person. I was going to say leading assist man, but that would be leading assist woman person. That's not saying much because her team is letting her down. I mean, they were 2 years in a row first pick for a reason. So you don't expect, and they've had a really hard schedule. They've played Connecticut twice. They've played New York twice. They played the Seattle Storm, who's not new, and they got close each time. But just like those teams that they don't have other than her, they're just going to trap her. And I think Aaliyah Boston is letting her down right now because she's super talented, but there needs to be more. There needs to be more like this distribution, or there needs to be more like diversity around there. Like help her out. She can't do all of it like herself, but she's getting better and better each game. You can see it. Her competitive fire. She hates losing, and you get to see it. And I agree with what Charles, the round mound of rebound is just copying what I've been saying all year. So that people are getting too hard, or they're too hard on her because she's the face of the women of pretty much women's sports in general right now. It was the women's national soccer team. Now it's kind of become Caitlin Clark as more of the ambassador / representative for female sports in America right now because she's just the most recognizable face. Is it fair? No, but well, maybe not. But you know what? She's doing good for everyone, so no one has a right to. If they want their bags, then you better get on board. That's all. Get on board the CC train.
Yeah, so I'll read exactly what Charles said in regards to all this. Uh, and I'm not going to do an accent. This
I'll
is
do
going to
it.
be
Do
me in
it.
my monotone
Oh,
voice. Oh, absolutely not. You
no.
women out there, y'all petty, man. Y'all should be thanking Caitlin Clark for getting y'all expletive private charters. Y'all the money and visibility she's bringing to the WNBA.
She's like, y'all
Uh,
petty, man. Y'all petty, man. She bringing all this
oh
attention
my God.
over the
Yeah,
WNBA.
there's a reason why we didn't use
I love it.
we
I
didn't
love
use
doing
an
the Charles
accent
A.
there.
You being
Yeah,
petty. You being petty, man. I couldn't
want to
help it.
reach through the screen right now. But anyway, I actually completely disagree. Uh, not with the spirit of what he's saying, but if we're just going verbatim, word for word with what he's saying, I actually disagree with Mr. Charles here. Shout out to the other Charles here, but this was a long time in play, and I just think this is the perfect storm and coincidental timing. So to credit Caitlin Clark with all of this, I think it's just inaccurate. But go ahead. What are you thinking now that you had a chance to read the or hear the actual quote verbatim?
Well, no, I don't. I'm not. Well, don't take everything I said so literally. I mean, like, and I'm not saying like that just to you, but like what I've been saying, she's not the only one. But what she has done, she has been a catalyst to open up the entire doorway. Because if it was just Angel Reese, with respect to everyone, Paige Becker, Angel Reese, um, Juju, like it, yes, they would be popular. But Caitlin Clark is what put the spotlight on because of her exciting Steph Curry-esque play. That's what it is, and that's just it. Without her, this movement would not be happening right now, in my opinion. So, I mean, I'm standing by my stance, but I'm saying that there are a lot of other people to be excited about, but she's putting the spotlight on it. That's my point.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like let's just put a number on it. If the popularity, if the rising growth of the WNBA, if we had to put a number on it of 80 out of 100, with Caitlin Clark, it would then be a 90 or 95. So for sure, she's definitely moving the pendulum, 100%. But
Mm-hmm.
the way that it's being framed, in this case by Charles Barkley, it makes it sound like, and again, we're just taking his words verbatim for because those were his words. That's what he said. He didn't choose or elect to clarify further afterward. This is what he literally said. I read the quote. It makes it sound like, and it makes it seem like the WNBA players should be bowing down to her and thanking her. Like this, the charter flights thing has been a long time coming. This has
Well,
been in the works. Now, is it now expedited because of Caitlin Clark? Sure, I could give you that. I'd be willing to reach you there. But this is owners have been trying to find workarounds for this for a long time, and now the media deal, if in a vacuum, if you were to take Caitlin Clark, would it be as big, especially what's about to come up? No, absolutely not. But the growth, the attendance, the revenue has been increasing and on the rise steadily before her because of other players as well. So I think that's being dismissive of the great work that other WNBA players, current and past, are doing. And that's where I'm coming from, Erok.
um, I, I get where you're coming from. I see what you're saying, and I'm. Here's the thing, though. Her arrival, and the reason why I also think she didn't want to go back to Iowa is because she understands her role in this. Because her leaving is so serendipitous to the CBA, the new CBA, and they've been filibustering the charter planes. You can say that they've said they've been closed for a while. They've been complaining for a while. It's been dismissed. They've been dismissive. They filibustered it. The same thing with the CBA. This wouldn't have gotten done without her. That's just a fact. Now, it wouldn't have gotten done like right now, and it would. And the fact she's signed a deal. You weren't on you weren't on a Scoutcast on this one, but I said like I don't think she signed a deal recently with Wilson. Wilson. I've never in my life heard of anyone signing a deal with Wilson. It's like signing a deal with Spalding. It's like, what is she gonna have her own basketball? Like, but it's like it's cool. I mean, but she's actually the one who's allowed other women's players to get shoe deals. And now it's going to become more of a commonplace. She is the catalyst. That is, without her, this wouldn't have gotten done so quickly. Like, because Lisa Leslie didn't have her own, Taurasi didn't have her own. Sue Bird did not, and they were very. And yes, the growth has been growing, but it's been her. I think I read a stat where attendance has gone up 250% in Indianapolis, or Indiana, or whatever it is, Indiana. I mean, or 350% actually. I was like, I didn't know that was possible, but so it's like it. Yeah, I mean, I see where I don't think he meant literally like, but I don't think he mean they should be bowing down, but they should definitely show her, they should kiss the ring, not because of just their skill, not because of her skill necessarily, but because of what her commercial assets have brought. That's what I'm saying. And I think that's what he's trying
No,
to get.
First of all, that we can't then speak for Charles of what he meant if he has the
See, that's what I
platform and
think.
he chooses to say what he said.
That's what I think
So
he.
I
That's what
totally dismissed. We can't now second guess what he might have meant or said. This is Charles Barkley.
fair,
Right.
but
Uh,
that's what I
he
think.
he would have he would have he would have clarified if he meant something different. He 100% would have.
Fair enough.
So I want to dismiss that. And furthermore, I disagree with that. You and me are going to just disagree on this point entirely. So the degree of which it's happening, I think you can thank Caitlin Clark for, but everything else more like this wasn't. Maybe it's postponed a little bit into next season, but Angel Reese wasn't going to be flying Delta next year with the Chicago Sky. That wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
And more so, the WNBA players and all of the pushback and all the players that are supposedly mad or jealous of her, they're not mad of Caitlin Clark, and they're not idiots. They fully recognize that she's enhancing the WNBA brand and giving them even more leverage in the next CBA.
Mhm.
That's what's being missed here entirely in statements from Charles Barkley and from LeBron James, for example. They just want a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a slow roll before we put her on the Mount Rushmore, before we say that she deserves all the credit for founding the WNBA. Just have her earn it on the court first. Let's see if she can withstand a WNBA season. Let's see how she does against veterans. And as we're seeing, she's doing great for a rookie. But this notion that she was going to take the league by storm as a rookie year one was complete ludicrousy.
No,
And
I
I
don't
think
just.
we're seeing that play out. We're seeing that play out. And that is unfair to place that expectation on Caitlin Clark.
I agree.
Everything else I can more or less live without. But the WNBA players and the veterans are more or less just upset that people are rushing her and making her the GOAT when we haven't even seen how she looks in the postseason once yet at the professional level. And that's where I think we could all just take a moment. Let's enjoy and let's watch. Let's watch how this first season with the Indiana Fever unfolds with her.
Let me say just one more piece about it. I agree with it. I don't disagree with anything you said. So if you're putting it that way, I agree with that. Her play on the court needs to be seen. I'm talking about her intangibles off the court. That her presence off the court. That's what gives the thing. Now, and anyone that says like if anyone now is it arguable that debatable that she was the goat in college, like the college goat of all, like the best women's college player of all time? I think that is a very valid discussion. I think it's probably. I mean, that's for debate. I don't know, but NBA, no, she has to prove it on the court. But I'm talking about like people need to appreciate, and if they don't appreciate what she's doing, she didn't found the NBA. She wasn't the founder of the NBA. She won that, but she's definitely taken it up another notch. But everything else you said, I don't disagree with. That's not the point I was trying to make. Was that she does have to prove it on the court. She's on a good track, but it's still early. We'll see. I'm with you. I'm
Mhm.
with you. So.
Well, here's the other thing is that you can't have a sustainable movement that's dependent on one person. So absolutely, should you capitalize on the CC movement right now? Yes. And is it smart to embrace that, especially if you're the organization? But if you're on the Seattle Storm, if you're on the Phoenix Mercury, do I want you going out of your way to compliment Caitlin Clark? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And now, God forbid, so first of all, just Charles Barkley is a competitor, so I'm surprised that he's coming after other players. I'd rather have other players have that mental edge when discussing Caitlin Clark. Why? Because they're about to go up against her. And anyway, having a rivalry in terms of that would boost ratings, if anything.
Yeah.
But besides that, what if God forbid Caitlin Clark tears her ACL and her recovery goes bad? She can't step on the court again. Like, do we kiss all of this goodbye? Is the WNBA collapsing? No. Like, is it going to be slowed down significantly? Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But you also have to have a more sustainable mindset and sustainable model when approaching this league in general. So that's why this rookie class for sure is going to do a lot of heavy lifting. Paige Beckers is going to do a lot of heavy lifting. Caitlin
Juju.
Clark, as soon as she continues to be available, she will absolutely continue to drive the barometer.
I agree.
But I don't mind the pushback. And I fundamentally disagree with everything Charles Barkley said in this case. Overall, love him though. Go ahead. I'll let you have the last word on this.
Well, no, I mean I don't have much more to add. I think I'm pretty much. I mean, I think there's a middle ground between what you're saying. If we're taking what he's saying verbatim, which I guess we have to. I think he's never going to admit that he misspoke, but I think he meant something different. But if we'll take what he said literally, then I think somewhere between what you said and what he said is 100% true. Because yes, she's just you just got to take it for what it is. It would be a huge drop off if, God forbid, something happened to her. But there's also someone like Juju. I don't know how long she's going to stay at USC. Paige Beckers definitely she has to come out next year. So it's promising. It's on the upswing, but she's swung the pendulum like definitely to the popularity side of it, and it's only going to get bigger.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I think that there's somewhere in between both sides. I think you just have to appreciate take a step back and appreciate that we're watching a very pivotal turning point in women's sports right now, and I think it's it's a very good time to, and we just need to take time to appreciate it. That's what I'm saying. That's all I got.
Yep. I can't wait to watch. Can't wait to watch the Las Vegas Aces destroy the Indiana Fever.
Well,
Go Becky.
Moving
on.
They're going to destroy everyone. What are you talking about? They're ridiculous. That's an
I'm just I'm not a Las Vegas Aces fan per se. I'm just a Becky Hammond fan.
I am a Becky
Shout out
Hammond.
San Antonio.
God, that team is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
It's like an all-star team.
Love me the Las Vegas Aces. Now let's speak of Mr. Sir Charles inside the NBA.
Oh God.
Let's talk politics at Erok, huh? But that'll be fun. So who knows what's going on with TNT? Is it Yahoo? Is it Turner Sports? It's probably going to be Disney's going to be somehow involved. But kidding aside, now what has this show meant to you, and how much would it mean if they aren't able to somehow in some way, shape, or form bring back the cast for next year?
You can also see this in yesterday's episode of Paint to Paint, because I didn't know about this until Jordan Ramos brought this to my attention. What would it mean? This is the best sports show on TV, in my opinion. I love it. It cracks me up. It's the best. It has the most chemistry. It has the best cast. They don't care. They say what they want to an extent. Ernie Johnson is hilarious. He's very, very clever. Kenny Smith, Tar Heel. Here's what I would predict: if they cannot come to an agreement like Turner Sports, it's gonna be like I know this is a totally separate genre, but it's like what anyone that watched British Top Gear back in the day had Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Richard Hammond. It's like they had the chemistry. That's all that. They got into a beef.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy Clarkson got into a beef, punched his director, producer, whatever. But then because people didn't want to watch that new show without the crew, they created their own platform on Amazon. And I could easily see inside the NBA crew moving if they don't close a deal of some sort, because they're not going to work for Disney. I don't see Charles Barkley and Shaq signing off on working for Disney, because they already said that they don't want to work for. Hold on one second.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. And I said Disney because I completely forgot who is actually supposed to be quote unquote in line. I just assume Disney is involved if it has to do with the media deal. That's just me working on very basic assumptions.
Yeah,
but oh, you're back. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, sorry. I had a bee flying into my room.
Oh my God.
I know I had to get him out real quick. Go it was just it's beautiful out in North Carolina today. So yeah, I would think that they're going to. They would, if worst case scenario, it'd be like inside the NFL where they have their own separate thing. Like it wouldn't be on CW, but it'd be on like Max or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I could see that, but they're not going to disband it. They're too popular. They're several time Emmy award winning. So, and if they don't do it, I'm going to be very sad inside because that is a tragic loss to the best pre and post game show of all sports. That's my point. Now,
Absolutely. And it's NBC who's supposed to be involved in all this and acquiring them. I forgot it was NBC.
Oh, so Peacock's going to have it then. Yay!
But let's be real. That somewhere or another, Disney bought NBC, and they're all just Disney. They're all just serving the Disney corporate overlords in some way or another. I don't know if that's true, so feel free to fact check me, world. But I'm sure it's true somehow.
Probably true.
But the inside the NBA, this is kind of what you touched on, Erok, and I think you're right. Like, but let's dive into that a little deeper. Like, what is it that we love about this show? It'll be 2 a.m. I'll be tired, and I'll need to go to bed to wake up for work early the next morning, allegedly. And I will still just rewatch inside the NBA clips from yesterday, a month ago, years ago. Like, what is it about the show?
That's the same as me. I've been doing that. What is it, man? This is one of the reasons I got into podcasting. I mean, there's several reasons, but they are one of the reasons that let's put it this way. Their interaction with each other is one of the main reasons I love podcasting so much. And yes, doing a podcast by yourself is, Draymond Green, good for him. It's fun to do one by yourself, but interacting like we're doing now, back and forth banter, it's like having a conversation with a friend. And if you have the right chemistry, it's not robotic, it's organic, and it's fun. You just get to, and that's why I like putting different segments in, like I do on, you do a little something here and there, and you get to bag on each other, and you get to, in good fun. And they do the same thing, and they have they have 2 Hall of Famers on there. There's Kenny, who's been on there for Kenneth. He's been on there forever, and Ernie's he's a radio Hall of Famer. So, I mean, it's a wealth of knowledge. It's a fun environment, and I love EJ's Nito stat of the day, and I love Shaqtin' a Fool. It's great stuff, man. It's great stuff. Plus, I wish I could go visit the set before they go away, because they're only in Atlanta. It's only 3 hours away. But yeah, that's what makes it fun, man. It's just like watching a bunch of friends just do their thing,
Essentially, that's what and why I don't mind rewatching the clips over and over again.
Yeah, hilarious.
I'm gonna miss it unless are you gonna watch it? Are you gonna get a Peacock subscription, Erok? Am I hearing you correctly?
I probably would. Sadly enough, I probably would. I mean, I've been watching. I watched Bel Air, and that's on Peacock. Actually, I still don't own a Peacock account, but I got it on. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. We'll see. I would find a way to stream it. Allegedly, I would allegedly find a way to stream it if I had to.
Right. I hear you.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll follow them to the world. I'll follow them.
Yeah, who he play for, Erok? That's my big question. Moving on.
Who he play for? Who he play
Moving
for?
on. Dallas Mavericks, they get the win. And the only thing I can think the entire time while watching this game is Anthony Edwards saying everyone who he's locked up before in the past and how he was looking forward to the Kyrie Irving matchup. And that was just playing with fire, in my opinion. I mean, you poke the bear, and you're about to be in a lot of one-on-one ISO situations defending Kyrie Irving. And in game 1, at least, he could not defend him. No can defend. Was that just a game 1 trend? Do you see that lasting for the 7-game series? What do you think?
Kyrie said the same thing in the post game. With Shaq and them. Haha. Go figure. See, what would they do without this great journalist? They said like he was sitting on his couch and like you're sitting on your couch with your family. He's like funny enough, I actually was sitting on the couch watching it with my family when he said that. And I was like, did that like fuel you all? I was like, I mean, it might have given me a little motivation. So he scored 21 in the first half. I think 21. And Luka closed it second half.
Nice, Erok.
Yep. So it was very, very but it's not happening next game. Sorry, Ant is too much. Ant's a competitor. Ant is hungry. He does the. I'm not invoking MJ's name, but he has that mentality, the Mamba mentality, the MJ mentality of I took that personally. And he said, "Oh no, I'm not letting him dog me again at home." He's like, he's gonna. And what he did. Here's a fun stat. Not for the Wolves fans, but the average shot distance for Anthony Edwards for Giant Man. So that's what I'm calling him now. Giant Man. His average distance 20.5 feet for his shooting. He was not striking at all. That is his bread and butter. That is his bread and margarine bread and butter because he's so athletic, so strong. He needs to go to the. I know that you know what? Leave everything out there. Because guess what? You can get rest in between in the NBA championship. Right now, you got to get to there first. So they need to play from the inside out. They were playing from the outside in, which is not what's going to get it done. They need to use their size and stop taking so many jacking up trays. They're not the Boston Celtics. They're not the Indiana Pacers. Use your physicality, draw fouls, get offensive second chances. I see that happening next game. And Mavs it's going to go 6 to 7 games, no doubt. This is going to be a really competitive series.
Okay. Well, now I'm upset because we're not going to get our big back and forth because I mostly agree with everything you said. The only thing that I kind of want to see is if it was a game one trend with Kyrie Irving, because at his best, I don't care who you are. Like, there's no handshake. Like,
no,
to a certain degree, what can you do if Kyrie Irving's got it going and if he has that attack mindset? So, shout out Giant Man. Last thing before we get out,
Giant Man. Oh, that's who you get.
I'm shy with Marvel and movies references.
This is just word. This is just wordplay. I'm saying Giant Man, but Giant Man. So he's both.
Yeah, I'm saying I won't be able to remember that
fine.
Or use
Giant Man. Gotcha.
You say whatever you want. I'm just telling you right now. Me saying Giant Man in correct context is a 0 for 10 from the field. But moving on.
Oh, all right, Ant-Man. We'll just say Ant-Man on this. This is your show. We'll say Ant-Man.
You have to babysit me with these kind of things, Erok. Speaking of babysitting, the Boston Celtics are and their fan base is a bunch of whiners, aren't they? No, but kidding aside, I haven't been high on this Boston team for a while, and it seems like now the national media is just bitter that they beat the New York Knicks. They being the Boston Celtics, and now I see a lot of media personalities saying that the Boston Celtics aren't a good team. I think it's not coming from a right place. Like I think they're being disingenuous. But am I misinterpreting this? What do you think?
I can't speak for a Boston fan. I can't do it because they're all over the place when it comes to sports. Like they'll defend their team, they'll attack their team, and it's depending on what region of Boston you're in. I don't know if you're in Southie, if you're in like the north. I don't know. It's like it just changes. Everyone's different. I can speak for me though. I hope I can at least. That
good.
I'm also not. Everyone knows I have no faith in this Boston team. In fact, people have said like, "Oh, Indiana blew a chance, golden opportunity." Yes, they did. That's true. It's like, well, that was their best chance. Now the series is done. I'm like, well, you're high because I don't know what you're smoking, but you're not smoking the right thing, because that's absolutely, if you watch this NBA playoffs, if you watched the Denver series previously, if you watched the New York and Pacers games, there was like a butt kick, there's an A kicking, and then there was another kicking of the tails. So it's like it goes both ways. This could easily. I actually have this game. I have this game tonight. Going to be an ass kicking one way or the other. I don't know which one. It could be either team, but this game's not.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's not going to be close. This was going to be a 20+ point game win. I mean, it might get cut down to a little under 20, but it's going to be up to one team is going to be up to 25 points leading at one point, and I could easily see it being Indiana being that team, because Boston looks complacent. They're like the opposite of the Knicks. The Knicks were fighting for their seed going into, even in the regular season, they were fighting, and they weren't like, granted, they couldn't rest their players like that because they didn't have a choice, but Boston was cruise controlling. People talk about how easy the road has been for Indiana. People keep forgetting how easy it's been for Boston. They've played two teams that also, the whole East has been just like Swiss cheese. It's got holes all up in it. So they've been cruise controlling, and they dropped. They're a 500 team at home in the playoffs right now. That is not a good thing. That's complacency, literally the definition in basketball of complacency, especially with the team that has the best record in the NBA. Jayson Tatum, I don't care. People say, yes, he had 27 points in regulation. If it wasn't for a guy falling down, he wouldn't have caught his rhythm. And if it wasn't for not a lack of a switch by Hallie, then they wouldn't have gone to overtime. So it's just, no. I think it's more of a bad sign for Boston than it is like a bad sign for Indiana. I think Indiana's they're going to ride their butts to 6 or 7 games.
Interesting. At the very least, even let's pretend that it goes 5 games only. At the very least, those are going to be 5, I think, grueling games outside of tonight, because you're calling a 20-point game one way or another. But I think for the most part,
Indiana's undefeated at home, by the way. That was one more fact. They're undefeated at home this playoffs.
One more tidbit.
Sorry, I couldn't.
But overall, no, good. But overall, I think we agree, like, this is far from over, and this is going to be a competitive series, at least game to game, in terms of how things are going to play out. So if Boston emerges, I don't think I can like them against the T-Wolves or I almost said the Denver Nuggets. Not the Denver Nuggets, but I don't think I could like them against the T-Wolves or the Mavericks. Or the Nuggets, if that had been the case. But
yep, whoever wins the West wins the league, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what if the Pacers do emerge, Erok?
Well,
do they stand a chance? Or
no, my bad. Finish your statement. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm curious now. What were you about to say about Mr. Joe?
I said I've been saying 2 things. I said, one, if they lose the Pacers, Joe Mazzulla doesn't make it out of the building, or he does make it out of the building, but he's holding a box with his he's not making it out of the building with his job. And if he loses,
that's fair.
If he loses in the next round, he's still not going to. He'll leave the building, but he'll get a phone call saying, "Turn in your playbook." So, he's not. It's his winter bust for Mr. Mazzulla. But it's no. The question, I think, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The question I think you were going to ask me was, if the Pacers get past this round, what are their chances, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, I'm about to push back to the other thing you said, but go on.
All right, well, I'll let you push back and say the answer to that question is it's remote. The Pacers' chances are whatever their shooting percentage is their chances. That is literally it. Their rebounding and their shooting percentage are going to literally they're the one team where you can sit and look at their box score and say, okay, they probably won this game. You wouldn't even have to tell me the score. It's like, you showed me the Knicks game in Game 7, 72% shooting, And they scored this many points. They had this many rebounds. Yeah, they won. Yeah, they won.
Yeah.
Unless the other team was an all-star team. Nope, they won. So that's where I was
Yeah.
right. Now push back on me here. What do you got? What you got for Joe?
No, I think that's really accurate. So for sure, if it's embarrassing and they don't advance against the Pacers, then I think what you just said is on the table. If they advance though and they lose in 6 or 7 to either Western Conference team, I think Joe's job is safe. Or you don't feel like that at all?
Just because he's in Boston, he's in a historic big market, critical. Like, who's the fall guy in every NBA organization? The first person that's getting the fall guy. It's not the stars. It's not going to be Brad Stevens. He's the president of operations. He would be the next one in line, but I don't see that. He would be the next one in line, but he just won Executive of the Year. Missoula would be the first person to fall. Look at Bickerstaff. He just got canned today from Cleveland. Dude didn't have a bad season. He had to go against Boston without Don Perignon. I mean, it was and he still got canned. I hope the Hornets scoop him up as fast as they could literally do it. So, I mean, he's a great coach. But, I mean, he's Joe. He shouldn't lose his job probably, but it's very possible because he's in Boston. The Boston media and fan base are going to be extremely critical, looking for blood.
All right, if Joe's on the unemployment line come this upcoming off season, then I guess we'll say you called it. I think that he would get one more year, and then everything you say comes to fruition. That's how I view it right now.
That's how it should.
For sure, you can't undermine that it is the Boston media. So I see where you're coming from. I disagree, but I see where you're coming from. I don't think that's completely crazy. I don't.
I think you're right. I agree with what you're saying. It shouldn't be that way, but it's Boston. It's Boston. All right. It's a totally different ballgame. Look at Bill Belichick.
Yeah, the GOAT got run out. I couldn't believe it.
Got run out of town faster with pitchforks and torches, dude. He got run out of town. Then he got put under the bus by Robert Kraft, the guy who I thought ran Kraft mac and cheese.
Still does. Still is too. He's unrelentless.
He's doubling down. He's like, I don't respect him. I found out he's not the guy who's in charge of Kraft cheese, man. I'm like, hey, you know what? You let me down. That's the only reason I even liked any kind of party in the first place. Now I know you don't have nothing to do with mac and cheese. You suck. Get out of here, Robert Kraft. Get out of here. I know. You don't even make my own food. All right. So I agree with what you're saying, though. I think what you're saying is fair. Will it happen? Maybe. This just comes down to Brad Stevens, I think.
Yeah, let's last question then before we actually get out of here, just like I said about 10 minutes ago.
Okay. No worries.
In reality though, I know this won't happen, but this is what should happen in my opinion. And I'm kind of using you as a sound bar. You know what I was trying to say.
You're venting to me. You're venting to me. A sound. Yeah, sound wall.
Yeah,
sound
I forget. Yeah, I'm bouncing this idea off you. Let me know what you think. Like, for sure, 100%, if Boston loses, and it's in the same way in which we see if basically we see them lose a series, whether it's against the Pacers or in the finals, similar to how they nearly lost the Pacers game in game 1, there should and there needs to be this conversation about what do we do with this nucleus led by Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Because clearly those two aren't it. And I know that if there are big changes, it will be the coach. But that needs to be an actual conversation in terms of, and again, this isn't a practical conversation I'm having you with right now. This is more of a philosophical, like, are you kidding me? Like, we've seen this movie so many times now. Why is it that we can't move on? So I don't know. I've said a lot there. Go ahead.
It was a bit of a chef word salad, but I know where you were going. But I know where you were going with it, though. It was more like stream of consciousness is what you were doing. You're thinking out loud, which I know, but I respect that because one, I do it, and two, I get where you're coming from. here's the thing about this, and I'll try and keep this succinct and brief as I can. Put my phone down real quick. I'm looking at the odds changing right now. It's changing like stocks right now.
Interesting.
They're in purgatory when it comes to the 2 stars. They already paid Jaylen Brown deservingly his whether you agree with it or not. The market dictated that was the right thing to do. I probably would have traded him personally because out of the 2, he's the more talented. Or I would have traded Tatum. But that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed now because it's too late now. It's too late to apologize because now Tatum's coming up and they're gonna pay Jayson Tatum. And he's gonna get paid more than Brown. They're stuck with them. So they're in purgatory. And they locked up Drew Holiday, so that's good. Here's the issue about that. They're once again a top-heavy team on the backcourt. And yes, I'm counting Jayson Tatum as a backcourt player, even though he's 6'9" and he's bulky. He's athletic, but he's bulky.
That's right.
But he's basically he's basically a backcourt player.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
Now they're hostage to where they don't have big guys. It's like what Dallas kind of had before they started making trades and also drafted Likely. So there's not much they really can do. They're going to, unless because they can't trade Tatum. It's too late. And they're not going to trade Brown because Brown's he's too damn expensive. I mean, they could, but it would be really hard to do. So there's not much. I mean, in a likely world, they should.
They're doomed. Erok, they're doomed.
If they don't win this year, I think they're just going to be stuck in an endless, stuck in a cycle. It's going to be like It's going to be a loop and loop. Like they're going to be good every year, but they're not going to be there. Like getting rid of Ime Udoka was a bad decision. I know yes, I get it. I know we're going to take the ethical part out of it, but Ime Udoka was the best chance they had as a coach to get them over the hump. That's my thing. Because he look what he's done with Houston this year. Houston was absolutely abhorrent last year. Look what he did this year. I mean, they almost made, I don't know where they got, but they had a way better season. So with very little help. So there you go. I mean, and nothing against Joe Mazzulla. It's just he came into a good situation with a really hostile crowd.
Yeah.
Or fan base. They expect nothing but greatness. They know they don't get it. Soon they're going to become the Dallas Cowboys of the Lakers. The Lakers are the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. But
yeah, the Lakers are
they're going to become.
They're going to become the Clippers.
They're going to become up there. They're going to be up there with them. Though. They're going to be up like the Boston has such high unrealistic. They have all those banners that were from back in the day, and they have one from the Big Three, and then they're still expected. It's like the Patriots. Like it's not good enough. So that's where they're in purgatory right now. They're in a good purgatory. Yeah. If there's a better part of purgatory, they're in that. But they're in terms of economics, they're in purgatory. They've made their bed. Now they got to live with it.
Yeah. The upper echelon of purgatory. I love it. Erok, where can we find you? What's up with your YouTube channel? Let's get out of here.
Let's do it. Well, first off, you can find us and my dude row over here. He's going to be a sweet. Well, it's not surprising. We already ruined it earlier. He's going to be a guest on my show, our show, everyone's show. It is the fan show. Scoutcast presents Paint to Paint. So check out Scoutcast Media Hub and check out Living Good 09 for my personal. But that's where all the stuff is uploaded. And other than that, we're going to cover similar stuff just in different ways, but we'll have also 2 other people as well. So we'll have a lot of fun banter and criticism and more fun Marvel wordplay. So thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, great. Yeah, I can't wait to be exposed as a casual. See you, Erok.
See you, man.